Ladies and gentlemen, something stinks in YouTube and I'm fucking not happy about it. I uploaded a video yesterday and it is no more. As soon as I uploaded the video, it went private every 5 minutes, which means you guys at home could no longer see it. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it got caught up in some weird algorithm or YouTube censoring me. YouTube censoring me sounds a whole lot better, so I'm gonna go with that. Anyway, I have not edited the video in any way except for the title and this bit. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, here's my video on political correctness. I'm offended. A very short and a very simple phrase, but somehow in 2018, it controls our lives in one way or another. And ladies and gentlemen, it's something that does my fucking head in. This is a direct message to anyone who uses the phrase, I'm offended, on a regular basis. Fuck you. Fuck you to the moon. No one gives a fuck if you're offended. Why are you trying to control other people's lives because of your own insecurities? Being offended is a choice. What one person might find outrageously offensive, someone else finds hilarious. It is subjective. But now, in today's society, there are people that spend their entire days looking to be offended. They search, they scour the entire internet just to find something that offends them. To push this weird culture of victimhood and outrage at everything for no particular reason. Surely not everything that you encounter on a daily basis is sexist, racist, or homophobic. Don't get me wrong for a second. All those three things exist, but they're not everywhere like you think they are. You've created this in your own mind. There is a huge difference between hatred and humour. That's where the line is. And comedy is suffering greatly from this. That's why every single year at the Melbourne Comedy Festival Gala on Channel 10, you see the same comedians doing the same jokes about petrol prices and unreliable public transport. The reason they're doing this is because they're so terrified of offending someone. And that is absolute fucking bullshit. In the words of the great Australian comedian Steve Hughes.
Nothing happens when you're offended. There's nothing. I went to the comedy show and the comedian said something about the Lord and I was offended. And when I woke up in the morning, I had leprosy.
This country would be a whole lot better off if we fucked off those stale cunts that spend their entire day reading BuzzFeed articles and complaining in comment sections on Facebook about straight white men being Hitler. Why don't you bring some good people in, some refugees with a sense of humour? I'm sure they'd love to hear a joke that 3% of the population deems sexist, so the rest of us have to pretend that it's not funny at all. I'm sure they'd love to hear that, because they got real problems to worry about, like war and finding food. They don't have to worry about these simple little shitty problems that us Westerners have to worry about, like not being able to make a joke about a minority. You should be able to make a joke about anyone, because it's a fucking joke. But I get it. This is what happens when you live in a culture where everything is easy. You don't have to hunt for food, it's provided for you. You don't have to make a fire to see, lights just turn on. When you live in a world where there aren't real problems, you create them. Because some people need to have problems in their life to make their life worthwhile living. Over the past few years, our culture has devolved into this outrage culture, where everything you read in the newspaper or see on TV or on the internet is built by outrage. Think about the big players in social media. They all rely on outrage for clickbait. Think about the Australian players, the Junkies, the Mamania, or however you say that, the Triple Js, the Project. All these type of people rely on people being outraged to click. Their articles, their videos, and their websites constantly whinge and bitch and moan about the most inane shit that you can possibly imagine. Why? Because the people that agree with them will click on the articles, will watch the videos, and will visit the websites, and then they see the ads that are placed there by other companies. And then that business makes money. And the exact same thing happens when you disagree with one of their articles. You might click on it to argue a point, but it doesn't matter because you've seen the ad and they've made their money. It's smart business. They're putting people against people, creating teams, and making a fucking shit ton. These media powerhouses aren't the social justice warriors that you want them to be. They're just smart business people. And yes, I get the irony of me being outraged at people being outraged, but let me tell you this. Get fucked, I've got a beard. Take, for example, this video starring Donald Trump.
I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything.
The outrage that ensued from this was humongous. And if it wasn't for the fact that he was running against a criminal, he probably would have lost the election. And the thing that got me about it, and don't get me wrong, you don't really want your president saying shit like that. Like, that's fucked up. I get that. But the whole idea that men came out and said locker room talk doesn't exist. They said that they would never say something like that. I call bullshit on that. And this is what I don't like. When people come out and say that they would never do something like that, it usually means that they've done something exactly like that. In fact, I'm pretty sure every single bloke watching this video right now has made a joke far worse than that, and I probably make 10 jokes worse than that before 9:30 in the morning. This is another example of where the importance of intent is most prevalent. If you are saying something for the purpose of being a hateful cunt, then yes, it may be offensive. But if you are just doing it for humour, then you're just doing it for humour. It's a joke. Well, Isaac, there's actually truth behind every joke. Yeah, righto. Fair enough. And you know what? There's probably herpes on every toilet seat too. What, are you going to start squatting for the rest of your life? How powerful are your quads, fuckhead? This isn't just me whinging like a fuckwit for views. This is real life we're talking about here. Thank fuck we don't live in Canada, where they've only just recently brought in laws to say that if you don't use someone's gender pronoun, and don't even get me started on fucking gender pronouns, if you use the incorrectly chosen gender pronoun, ze, ze, they're real ones by the way, then you can go to jail. You can be tried by the Canadian Human Rights Council and go to jail. Don't get me wrong. If you're a transgender person and you want to be called a sir or a zer, fucking oath, I'll call you whatever you want just to make your life a little bit easier on this planet. I don't give a shit. But don't make it fucking law. That's not free speech. That's not a free country to live in. That's some Nazi Germany shit. On the topic of Nazi Germany, let's have a look at Count Dankula. This story surfaced last week again after 2 years of being pretty quiet. This gentleman, whose real name is Marcus Meacham, is a YouTuber out of Scotland. Marcus's life is now a brothel of a mess after he made a joke that someone deemed so offensive that he was arrested. You see, Marcus uploaded a video of his very cute pug dog pretending to be a Nazi. Now, the reason that Marcus did this is because Marcus's girlfriend found Marcus's dog to be cute all the time, and he wanted to find out if she would still find him cute if he was a Nazi. The dog in the video was shown to watch Nazi war films, the dog sort of made some Nazi hand gestures, and the dog responded to anti-Semitic chants. Obviously this video is in poor taste, but it's a shitpost, it's humour. That's all it is. 17 days after Marcus released this video, he was fucking arrested. All because some cunt thought it was so offensive that this man needed to be locked up for hate speech. Are you fucking serious, Scotland? This man could spend the next 3 or 4 years in a cage because he made a joke. This is another real life example where political correctness has a horrible and real effect on someone's life. I strongly believe that every single topic can be made funny. There is no exceptions. There is bad humour, and I'm not defending bad humour, but I will always defend the right for someone to say it. And you shouldn't be arrested or lose your job or have your life threatened because you make a bad joke. How is this a daily conversation? Why are we always confronted with this shit? By fuckwits saying they're offended by this, offended by that, you need to change this, you need to change that. It's just fucking bullshit is what it is. How is that a problem that prime ministers, presidents, and the media in general always bring up? How do they bring that up as the top story, as the top news article, as the front page of fucking everything? Do you know what I find fucking offensive? I find it very fucking offensive that every single night of the year there are homeless people living on the streets. We never fucking hear about that. That people with mental health conditions can't receive the proper help that they need to have a good quality of life. You don't really hear about that, do you? The National Disability Insurance Scheme has all these fucking problems in it, but no one's talking about that. The most vulnerable people in our society aren't getting the help they need. What the fuck's going on with that? And possibly, worst of fucking all, Sophie Monk is still on the TV. Now that's fucked up. Perhaps we should be focusing a little bit more on some real issues and not focusing on how sexist air conditioning is, or that the British government is fat shaming because they suggest that there's a link between obesity and cancer. Perhaps we shouldn't focus on those small fucking issues. But we won't, because it's not outrageous enough. It's not appealing. It doesn't sell. And that is fucked up.